What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity Ant, and today you are checking out our AEW, WrestleDream 2024 official recap. It was a actually decent show. I'm not really a huge fan of the AEW pay-per-views, but I'm going to give you my insights and thoughts on this pay-per-view. WrestleDream is live in Tacoma, Washington. To kick off the night, we have Hangman Adam Page taking on Switchblade Jay White with Juice Robinson involved in the match. Great opening match. Jay White lands a DVD to Adam Page on the apron. Adam Page powerbombs Jay White on the ring steps. Jay White lands a clothesline on the ramp. Adam Page then hits a Deadeye, and then Jay White hits the Blade Runner on Page. Jay White gets the victory over Hangman here. Good match, great opener, and there's probably going to be some more stuff between the two, so I'm excited to see what's going to take place on Dynamite. Next up, we have AEW Women's Champion Mariah May defending against Willow Nightingale. This is a very good female match here in AEW. Willow lands a pounce to Mariah. Mariah then lands a low drop kick and bites. Willow bites Mariah's ear. Willow then splashes Mariah in the corner and lands a super kick. Willow lands a spine buster for a 2, and then Willow applies an Indian deathlock. Willow rams Mariah May into Mariah's own knees, and Willow misses a moonsault. Mariah lands a Mayday for a 2 count, and then Mariah hits a superhero Karana, running knee, and a Storm Zero, and Mariah May retains the AEW Women's Championship over Willow Nightingale. This is a very good female match. Most of the women's matches in AEW are pretty boring, but this actually was very good here. Next up, AEW TNT Champion Jack Perry defends the title against Katsuyori Shibata. Jack lands a Northern Light suplex for a 2. Jack then lands a clothesline. Shibata hits a suplex. Shibata with a big boot and many fast chops to Jack Perry. Perry applies the snare trap, and then Shibata hits a DVD backbreaker, sleeper hold, and then Jack Perry falls back, and Shibata's shoulders gets counted to the mat, and Jack Perry retains the AEW TNT Championship. Afterwards, Jack Perry attacks Shibata and hits him with the AEW TNT Championship. Daniel Garcia runs out and Jack Perry walks off. MJF then comes down and stands face-to-face with Daniel Garcia. Perry attacks Garcia from behind with the TNT title. MJF punches Garcia, and MJF says, "It's been a while since I saw you. I beat you without breaking a sweat, and then I made movies. You had a bidding war. I want to thank you for telling me where my ring was, and now you're going to kiss it." And before MJF can attack Daniel Garcia some more, Adam Cole comes out of being injured for a while, and MJF runs off. We're definitely going to see Adam Cole versus MJF down the line somewhere. Next up, we have probably the match of the night, not probably, but the match of the night. AEW International Champion Will Ospreay defends against Ricochet and Konosuke Takeshita. A lot of action between these three. Ricochet lands a cartwheel dive to Konosuke, who catches him. Then Ospreay dives on both men. Takeshita lands a hard right to Ricochet and lands a DVD to Ospreay onto the apron. Ospreay lands a standing Spanish fly to Ricochet for a 2. Ospreay hits a Styles Clash to Ricochet for another 2 count. Konosuke Takeshita holds Ricochet on his shoulders. Ricochet and Ospreay land a poison rhyme to one another. Konosuke Takeshita lands a haluva kick to Ricochet. Ospreay lands super hurricane rise to Takeshita into a roll up by Ricochet for a 2. A lot of action here. Ospreay lands a hidden blade to Takeshita. Callis pulls the referee out. Kyle Fletcher shows up with a screwdriver, and he hits Will Ospreay in the back with a screwdriver, turning on his friend. And Takeshita lands a hard knee, and we have a new AEW International Champion and Konosuke Takeshita after Kyle Fletcher hits Ospreay with a Tiger Driver. And Ospreay is definitely going to want to get back at the Don Callis family for this. Great match of the night. Definitely recommend checking that triple threat match out. Next up, we see Jerry Lynn talking to Orange Cassidy, and he tells him that he could be a top guy if he puts his heart on it. Next up, Prince Nana comes out and welcomes back Swerve Strickland. Swerve says, "It feels weird being out here without the championship. I still feel tingly in my neck that shoots down in my waist, but I am medically clear to compete." That's when MVP and Shelton Benjamin come out. MVP says, "I'd like to discuss your future. You need to make decisions regarding that. We have history. I believe in you before you believed in yourself. Your career is floundering a bit. I can take a former champion to remember and regain titles they should have. Let's talk some business, shall we? And then Swerve says hi to MVP. And he says, you gave me a lot of memories. I beat you in 2017. Shelton Benjamin, you were such an inspiration to me. You paved the way for black wrestlers. MVP's not wrong, Nana. Since being with you, I lost it all out. My childhood home, my title, all under your watch. But I wouldn't have had any of those things if it wasn't for you, Nana. We could make more history. Nana, you're still selling weed to kids in high school, but you are my family. I don't turn my back on family. MVP, you can shove your business cards up your ass. And then Shelton says there's no you without us. So you're either with us or against us. Swerve pushes Benjamin, referees separate them, and then MVP points to his watch. Bobby Lashley is definitely going to debut soon here in AEW, and I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. MVP's not going to be happy to be turned down here by Swerve Strickland. Next, we have a 2 out of 3 falls match, Hologram versus Mortis. Hologram wins the first fall after landing a flying crucifix bomb. Mortis gets a second fall after a backbreaker and power bomb onto his knee. And the end comes after Hologram lands a spinning blue thunder bomb, and Hologram gets the victory here. Decent match, kind of weird that it was on the pay-per-view, but wasn't the greatest, wasn't terrible. Next up, Darby Allin's taking on Brody King. Brody puts steps on Darby Allin and walks right over them. Darby lands a pop rocks for a 2. Darby pushes Brody King off the top onto the steps, and then Darby lands a coffin drop to Brody King on the steps, and then Darby pushes Brody into the ring, lands a coffin drop to the back of King, and Darby gets the victory after Brody and Darby shake hands. Clearly, this feud should be over. It looks like they have respect for each other now. Next up, we have the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, defeating Private Party. This is a decent match. I'm not a big fan of the Young Bucks, but this one wasn't terrible. I will say that Zay and Mark Quinn did a really good job here. They were the MVPs of this match. Private Party landed combo DDT neckbreaker to the Young Bucks. Private Party landed double super kicks. But then the Young Bucks hit Zay with a TK driver, and the Young Bucks retain the AEW Tag Championships here at WrestleDream. Next up, Ring of Honor champion Mark Briscoe defends against Chris Jericho with Big Bill. Jericho suplexes Mark Briscoe off the apron to the floor and tosses Briscoe into the steps. Mark Briscoe takes control and lands the Fisherman suplex for a 2. Rocky Romero attacks Brian Keith, who Brian Keith attacked Mark Briscoe with a weapon. Briscoe hits Y2J with a chair, and then Chris Jericho lands a Judas effect, the J Driller for a 2, and then Mark Briscoe hits a DVD frog splash and his finisher, the J Driller, and Mark Briscoe retains the Ring of Honor Championship. Basic match, nothing great, but wasn't terrible. And we've made it to our main event here. AEW Champion Bryan Danielson defending against Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley has Marina Shafir with him at ringside for this match. Bryan lands a psycho knee quickly to start the match. Moxley lands a power driver to Danielson on a table. Marina exposes the concrete floor, and Bryan backdrops Moxley onto it. Moxley bites Bryan Danielson's back. However, Bryan bites Moxley back. Moxley hits a curb stomp for a 2. Bryan then lands a power driver to Moxley. Bryan Danielson lands some yes kicks. Bryan hits a psycho knee for a 2. Moxley hits a Death Rider to Bryan Danielson on the concrete for another 2 count. Bryan hits a psycho knee for a 2. Moxley hits a Death Rider for a 1 count. Bryan spits and slaps at Jon Moxley. Moxley hits a Gotch pile driver and applies the Bulldog Sleeper, and Bryan Danielson passes out. So we have a new AEW champion in Jon Moxley, and Bryan Danielson's active wrestling career is officially over here. After Marina, Claudio, and Pac all come out, Moxley puts the belt in the bag, and then Moxley takes a plastic bag, but Darby Allin and Wheeler Yuta come out to stop him. But out of nowhere, Wheeler Yuta hits Darby Allin with a psycho knee. They tuck tape Allin to the corner. Wheeler Yuta chokes Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag over his head. Security guards run out, but they're attacked. It isn't until Private Party, Jeff Jarrett, they try to run out and help them. Claudio puts a steel chair on Bryan Danielson's head, and then Claudio stomps on the chair. And pretty much the good guys' head locker room spills out, and the Blackpool Combat Club run out. This is a night for the heels. All of them retain their titles. We got new AEW champion Jon Moxley. He keeps promoting that we have a new coming in AEW. I'm wondering if it's Shane McMahon. I'm wondering what exactly it is, but we'll find out in the coming weeks. That is it for WrestleDream. Good show. Best match of the night was a triple threat match between Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. Definitely check this pay-per-view out. It wasn't terrible. It was worthwhile. Until next time, though, we're going to cover Dynamite. We've got WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Halloween Havoc, a lot. Attitude Years coming your way. Until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.